Alright guys and girls, what is up? This is Chow here, and in this video I'll be giving you kind of like first impressions on the closed beta of First Assault Ghost in the Shell Standalone Complex Online. That's actually what it's called. It's a free-to-play first-person shooter. It's being published by Nexon, and I got invited to the beta. It started on I think Thursday or Friday, and it ends tomorrow, I believe, Sunday. So unfortunately, I can't get any gameplay because it is under an NDA, so I can't take any videos or pictures. But I have played, a little bit of the game. This is kind of like a full review. I don't think it's fair to give it a full review yet since it's not out. It's kind of just like a first impressions of how I feel about the game in general, and some things I liked and I didn't like. So let's get into it. So one of the first things about the game is you're going to see it does stay true to the anime. It has all the characters. It has the original voice actors from the anime. And the graphics are pretty good. It has the same kind of atmosphere that you would expect from the anime. So it gives you that kind of feel that you are playing a Ghost in the Shell game, which is actually really good. So each character has kind of like a special ability. So the Major has like a cloaking device that makes you go pretty much invisible. You got sentry guns. You got you're able to see through walls, and all of the different characters kind of have a different ability. And it also has something called skill sync, which basically allows you to use teammates' abilities if they're like around you. Which it's all right. It's not, and it's actually not game breaking at all. I think it's only like a less powerful version, so that's always nice. It doesn't completely break the game. And also, another good thing that I liked is that the soundtrack was on point in this game, just like the anime, so that's also a good thing to look forward to as well. Something that also kind of surprised me about the game is that it actually has modern day weapons. So it has M4, MP5, Remington 870, it all has like AK-47, so it actually has like all the modern day weapons, which is kind of weird. I would have expected that they would have, some sort of futuristic weapon in the game, but I guess that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just something I wouldn't have expected. But one thing I will say, it has like the customization menu and everything. It actually allows you to see the actual stats of the guns that you're actually using, which I think is amazing, because I wish more FPS games would do that. Hint, hint, Call of Duty. Also, something to note is that, I guess this is where this is a closed beta, everything was pretty easy to unlock. I mean, I unlocked a few things, but it seems like it wasn't a huge hassle. So, is that going to be in the, the final release or whatever? I have no idea, but I would assume that there's going to be some sort of free-to-play element that's going to be implemented where, you're going to have to get some obscure currency, or you're going to have to spend real money in some way to get a certain character or ability. It's in the way it's done now in the beta. You have to, every time you level up, I believe, you get to unlock a character. So I really doubt that's going to stick. I think they're probably going to charge at some point. You might get one or two characters off the bat, but these free-to-play games. I really doubt it's going to stick, but you never know. They didn't have like a whole vast variety selection. I think they only had 6 of the characters. 2 of them were locked, so I think there's a total of 8 starting out, and then they had like 6 or 7 weapons, AK and stuff like that. So while I did have a couple of connection issues starting out, I would get basically kicked from the whole game. I just completely crash. I think they got that fixed up, and I was able to play pretty much smoothly from there on, being able to get into a match. So there's 2 maps. One was kind of like the big city kind of thing, something that you would see from the Ghost in the Shell anime. And to be completely honest, I think it's just like they made a half a map, and they made one half of a map kind of thing, and then they just kind of mirror imaged it over to the other one. So you have a big street with kind of like a bus and everything, and it's literally, you have like a corridor and like a hallway kind of thing that leading out into the middle. And you also have like a ladder in your spawn that you can climb up to and get through that way. So it's like you have 3 points. It's like the 3 point on each, like a right, left, and middle. and it's like basically a mirror image of the enemy spawn. And basically on this map, you only have one spawn point, so you can just basically sit there like a bunch of matches that I played. My team literally just got freaking spawn camped in our spawn. They were basically just sitting there looking in. They do have spawn protection, but it's still annoying. I don't think they really tried as hard on that map. Now the other map is kind of like a Section 9 kind of base looking map, and I actually enjoyed that map. I thought it was definitely the best of the two maps that they had. So I hope to see more of those kind of maps, because you're not spawn locked into one spawn like you are on the first map. So that was, and also one thing that I thought was pretty weird as well is it seems like every gun in the game will kill you in one shot with a headshot, and I really don't understand why they did that. To me, in my opinion, I really just think that headshots are really just basically a beginner's luck kind of thing, where you can just basically fire off the hip, and if you just get a headshot without even aiming at it, you basically are going to win. And I mean, I guess with a sniper you could expect it, but I mean with like an SMG or something, you could, in any gun in the game, you could basically kill in one hit a headshot if if the bullet spread just happens to hit your head, you're dead. And so, I mean, in one way it kind of says, well, we're going to try to reward people that aim for the head, but in another way it actually does the complete opposite. So I really don't know where they're going with that. The bullet time to kill, I think the guns are kind of around 30. It said like 30 damage or something. So, and you have 100 health starting out. So I mean, it's fairly high weapon damage. I don't know the ranges or everything, but I just felt like I was getting melted, like just around the corner someone would get spraying from the hip, and then all of a sudden you're just dead. And also another thing to note is that something is just really weird about the aiming mechanics in general, because you can't fire from the hip and aim down the sight at the same time. It's like if you fire from the hip accidentally and you try to aim down sight, it's like you can't. It won't let you. I don't know if that's a design choice or not, but I thought that was also kind of awkward. So in a nutshell, I really thought it was a decent game, but there's three main issues that I really have with the game, and these are the biggest ones that kind of make me feel like more work needs to be done with this game to actually make it a solid release. And the first and foremost is the lag. And oh my goodness, I don't really understand why. See, I have a GTX 970, okay? So I have a pretty powerful graphics card, but for some reason I'll get like 120, 150 frames, and then all of a sudden it will just plummet to like 50. So, I even turned almost all the settings down. I took, except the textures, but everything else was low. You only get low or high in the beta. I don't know if that's going to change, but I was having really problems with the frame rate. And I mean, the game does look good, but it's definitely not like a AAA title, obviously. So I really don't understand why we was having. I was personally having troubles with the frame rate. It might be just me, but I can hardly doubt it. But there's also some lag issues. You'd probably expect that from a beta as well. Connection and stuff. And the second issue I have is the whole movement and aiming. Like I talked about this a little while ago, but it's just really, if I could describe the movement, it's just like you're running in quicksand, and it's just like it's pretty stiff, and I really did not enjoy it at all. Like, moving in this game is very awkward. It's like you go really slow, and it's like it looks like you're moving. It looks like you're moving a whole lot, and it's just like you're not moving at all. It's really hard to explain. You have to play it to understand, but it's definitely, not as good as a AAA title, of course. But I would expect that's one thing that they really need to work on. Being able to move around fluidly around the map is one of the most important things in a first-person shooter, and I really hope that they somehow, make it work with this game, because that was kind of one of the main points as well that kind of shied me away. It's just trying to move around the map just sucks, and just the whole aiming too. It was just subpar from what obviously I'm used to playing. I play Call of Duty, Battlefield, and obviously you can't compare this game to those games, obviously, but take Dirty Bomb for example. That's a free-to-play game as well, and if you play that game, you know how great the movement in that game is. And the aiming is just on point. It's awesome. And this game is just complete opposite. It's very stiff. Like I said before about the shooting mechanics, you can't aim down the sight while you're hip firing. I don't know if that's intentional or not. But hopefully they patch that up, because that's one of the biggest problems in the game as well. I think if you had that fluent movement speed and, you know, the fluidity in the game, just aiming, you know, being able to, you know, I think you can vault around certain obstacles, but that's something that they really need to work on, is that particular point, because that's very important that most people don't, you know, maybe not realize. Being able to move around the map, being able to shoot fluently, and be able to hit your targets. So the final point that I have about this game is, simply put, how will they make money? You all know that it's going to be in there, some sort of free-to-play element is going to be in there, you know, some sort of obscure currency that they're going to have you collect, and it's going to be really hard to find, or you're going to spend real money somehow. It's just, how annoying is it going to be, and will it break the game? Will it make it pay to win? And again, you know, look at Dirty Bomb. I mean, yeah, it's not a perfect system by any means. I mean, you have a lot of characters that cost $10 a piece just to buy, and you get, you know, either that or you spend 50K, you know, gold or whatever, and, you know, that does suck. But, you know, they also give, you know, free weekends. They give, you know, specific merc rotations, so you can actually use like 5, you know, mercs in the game. So will they implement some sort of similar system in this game, or are they just going to allow you to choose one character or 2 characters, and then the rest of them are going to be locked behind a paywall? That's yet to be seen. Hopefully they don't take that route. Hopefully they make it kind of similar to Dirty Bomb. They give, you know, they give some options if you can't spend money, because I put like 100 hours in Dirty Bomb, and that's very, very rare that I'll put that time of, you know, that type of time into a game, especially just a free-to-play game. And I actually did ended up buying the Ultimate Starter Pack for $30, you know, after about 60 hours in, because I was enjoying the game back then. So, but can this game do this? I don't know, because, you know, just the other points that I mentioned about the movement, that's a pretty important point to me. Just being able to have that fluidity moving around the map. So, in conclusion, I'd say that this was, you know, a okay title. You know, it's probably not going to blow your mind away, you know, but it's a good, you know, kind of just messing around with the, you know, the nostalgic factor. If you watch Ghost in the Shell, you know, there's no reason not to try the game whenever it gets released, because it's free. You know, it's kind of fun. It's not completely broken as of yet. It was, you know, it was an okay experience. I think if the issues, hopefully if these issues are more or less resolved, or at least alleviated, I think it could be a lot better than what it is. But of course, we don't have all the content yet, so we don't know the balance issues or all the maps, if the maps are fun. But I really don't expect like the core mechanics to change that much. I'm probably going to expect the same sort of movement speed and everything. And I don't know if that's going to keep people interested. I really don't. I think people will play it for a couple months and then move on to other titles that, you know, have better, you know, movement and fluidity in the game. So I think that it was okay. But if you really want to play a free-to-play first-person shooter, I would definitely recommend Dirty Bomb. It has a high time to kill, but it's just the movement is just so great in that game. And it's one of the best I've seen out of a free-to-play game. And I would definitely recommend you try it out. If you didn't get into this beta, I believe they might be having another one sometime down the road. So maybe, you know, look into that if you're willing to try it, if you didn't get to try it. But yeah, that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, you know, think about subscribing, you know, like this video. Just help me out. You know, this is mostly going to be a collaborative channel with my friend Josh. So if you're looking for gameplay, any kind of gameplay reviews, or, you know, I'll put videos like this, like shooting off the hip, like I am doing right now. Then, you know, support me if you want to. With that being said, I'll see you guys on the next video.